In this presentation, I'll be discussing on the interrelationship between HR, business, and digital strategy. HR strategy, business strategy, and design strategy is such that must work together in a cohesive manner so as to be able to deliver the desired business objective. Bearing in mind that the paramount goal of every business is to maximize profit and minimize cost. So, a good HR strategy should be designed in a way that will take the normal HRM process and transform it through a digital strategies um, in alignment with the organizational goals. And so while HR strategy sort of focus on helping the business to a business human capital to align or to conform with all of the processes that is adhering within the organization so as to enable the organization to attain its goals. Business strategy, on the other hand, sort of put plans in place and step-by-step actions that will be taken so as to achieve organizational goals. In other words, business strategy outline the organizational decisions that has to be made in terms of recruitment, how all of the workforces and resources that is available will be harnessed together, and then you know, shared across all of the department that is in the organization. Um, Business strategy basically ensures that every element within the organization work together in an effective manner. While digital strategy, sort of, um, you know, assess and the business environment so as to determine the kind of dynamism and how technology will be used to change all of the processes um, that is involved within the organization so as to make it um, more effective and to be able to respond to whatever changes that is um, occurring out there, or in other words, to respond to market dynamism. So that's um, the basic aspect of digital strategy. That's a strategy evaluate existing processes, consider those that needs and to be redesigned and then to increase the efficiency. So that's what it does. So this means that looking at some certain organizational processes that they are already becoming unproductive or becoming obsolete. So digital strategies sort of look at these processes and then help to modernize them so as to help the organization to achieve its objective. Digitization in HR, which is the next aspect that I'll be talking about. So beyond using digitization to increase production output, digitization help HR to gain more insight through data that is available, uh, across all of its digital resources. So HR can now have better information that will help to manage the workforce more efficiently. They can understand the employees' behavior, performance review, and their expectation from the organization. All of this data can help organization to understand how how his employees are thinking, how they are behaving, what are they expecting the organizations to offer them. So this is one of the these are the benefits of digitization and um, and how businesses can use it to improve efficiency and become more productive. And the digital solution can now be used effectively to formulate policies and create processes on how to encourage, attract, and retain top talents within the organization. In a world where the demand and the cost of retaining high performance and skilled workers are becoming more challenging, HR needs to, they need to constantly look at available data so that it can understand um, the behavior of the employees, and to also understand what the dynamism of the labor market in order to gain competitive advantage over other organizations out there. And so, if the ability for organization HR to understand how to leverage on digitization would certainly improve its competitive advantage and help the organization to retain its talent and to, of course, be able to engage with its employees much more better. How would you rethink your organization model? Um, One of the first things I have here is to understand company's vision and goals to be achieved. And so, in order to be able to create or to redesign the model of the business, one must first understand the vision. Where is the company going? What does the organization intend to achieve? Understand the vision and goals. I begin by studying the company's vision and goals to be achieved within the stipulated time frame, so as to be able to design, strategies that will bring about this um, identified changes. Okay, so also it is important to identify tasks that is to be performed, and how each of these tasks will lead to the achievement of the organizational goals. Of course, stakeholders also need to be carried along. When people are not informed of the changes that is to be made, even when um, processes have been redesigned, they sort of resist those changes because they do not understand the benefit and what and how it will help them to, to achieve their work better. So the crucial thing is to communicate and ensure that all stakeholders are carried along in the change process, in the redesign movement. Of course, to also develop talent and review. And so this is very crucial. It is important to assess, okay, if the available workforce, if there's a skill gap between um, the workforce and, of course, the model that has been introduced, so that um, this gap can be um, you know can be blocked, or um, can be improved upon, so that they are prepared to um, usher in the change that is desired, so that the result can be as expected. How will innovation be a core strategy within HR? Of course, innovation is something that is very crucial in every organization. So um, it is it is practically impossible for organization to be innovative if if they are not thinking, they're not promoting the culture of innovation within the system. So essentially, um, innovation begins with um, allowing every human capital within the organization, so be able to think out of the box. And so it is essential to promote the culture of innovation within the organization. I believe in allowing people to undergo self-development, to to be given the ability to, think for themselves, do things um, in an extraordinary way, and they are beyond what is clearly stated, would promote the culture of innovation. It is also important to attract innovative talent within the organization. And so essentially, HR in every organization must make deliberate efforts to um, go out and get innovative talent, to attract innovative talent into the organization so that um, they can begin to see um, innovativeness in how businesses are conducted, in how um, work is carried out in task delivery within the organization. Also, creating a reward plan to sort of appreciate and celebrate employees who have done well would go a long way in helping um, people to perform in an outstanding manner. They would be encouraged to be more committed to whatsoever they are doing. Um, of course, it is essential to create an innovative environment. Um, One of the ways organizations create innovative environment is to have a good reward system. So when people know that, oh, if they go extra mile, there's something that is waiting for them. It doesn't have to be financial. It could just be um, appreciation for a job that is well done. So, for example, like I stated in my design, senior managerial position in a bank with several skills, um, rising through the rank as a result of internal crisis, then joined a manufacturing company in lower position with lower pay. It was taking him more time to find a befitting job. So the summary of it is every time he, he does something outstanding under his line manager, of course, the line manager does not acknowledge his outstanding performance. So over time, he withdrew to his shell and just decided to just roll with, just perform his task normally without adding extra touch, simply because the culture of innovation is not promoted within the organization. And so, organizations that promote the culture of innovation will certainly have a competitive advantage, will be able to do things much more better than every organization. And talent will be attracted. People would most likely want to come and work in such environment that promote the culture of innovation. Comparison between HR old and new function. Uh, yes, previously at the backstage, uh, focus on posting job advert. Yes, basically old function has always been to just post job advert um, in a very in a very cruel manner. I have seen a couple of job advert that looks as if that is tailored in a way that makes it look as if people are organizations are essentially doing employees favor rather than to see it as a mutual agreement. And so for organizations that still follow um, their old ways of doing things in their HR strategies, they will certainly be um, shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to attracting the new generation of talent that is out there. People want to see organizations that is innovative, organization that is that respect them. They want to see a working environment that is friendly. They want to have an idea now. People want to sort of have an idea of the company from afar before they go in. And so I was in my conversation with someone, one of my HR friends, and I said, why do you think your company is the only company that people are applying for? So most times you have talent who have applied to like five different jobs. And so they've attended five different interviews, and maybe they passed three of those interviews and they've been offered employment industry. So they need to make decision. Why would they choose your organization? So these are the things that HR professionals nowadays need to bear in mind. They need to have this at the forefront of everything. They need to think. They need to understand that people now have expectations. So they're looking for an environment that is friendly. They're looking for environment that encourage innovation. They're looking for environment that promotes a good a good culture. They're looking for environment that supports them, that supports talent, that supports um, that offers unique benefits. So that's what people are looking for, rather than an environment that does not um, offer anything, that only just focus on appraise and fire, which is the old ways of doing things, like I stated here on my slide. So I have the old ways of doing things they have previously at the backstage, now at the forefront of everything. So HR is now at the forefront of everything. HR is now a strategic partner. So for every organization that see the HR department as a strategic partner in their business, what they do, what they will have is a competitive advantage when it comes to attracting the best talent. They focus on in the old ways, HR focus on posting job advert, but now they make the environment for talent. They make the environment more friendly for talent. So you have talent, you have people who are just interested. They want to work in organizations like Google. And I have in my research, while looking at going through job advert, I realized that most of those top organizations, their job advert is always fantastic. It's always attractive. It's always very friendly. They start on a very nice note that you just want to be, you are curious, you want to be part of that particular organization. So when you see advert from Google, the likes of Apple, Microsoft, you just want to be part of it. There's a feeling that there's a lot this organization would be offering, rather than when um, we look at other organizations. And I realize that it doesn't mean that the likes of Google would pay more than some other organizations who doesn't really project their company in that particular manner. And so usually sponsored by individual candidate, but now sponsored by companies. So you now have organizations that sponsored, they push their HR department to give out the best. I remember I read a post on LinkedIn, and the guy said he went for an interview and he was offered a transport fare back home. And a lot of people commented on that post and said it was a nice idea. And he said even though he has not been offered the job, he already he has a feeling that the organization will be a good environment, and whatever they offer him, he would certainly consider it. So these are things that that now um, make the HR profession in every organization now to be more dynamic and much more effective like than before. All right. So by and large, I hope that I've been able to do um, justice to this particular question. So, but basically, um, implementation of HR strategies to ensure that organizations put HR professionals in every organizations put measures in place that helps the organization to attract you know the best talent, that help the organization to manage those talents when they come in, through training, through um, constant feedback, through a very robust and attractive reward package, and through every possible means like remote work. All of these things help organizations to retain their talent, and of course it gives them an advantage in the labor market out there. So for organizations who doesn't offer remote work, who doesn't offer good compensation, what they will experience is that their workers will start pulling out gradually. For example, I had a conversation with a friend of mine today, and he said during the meeting with among his colleagues, the complaint was that a lot of staffs were resigning because most of them have remained in one position for over 3 years. Their salary was never reviewed, there was no training, there was no growth, and they all complain they've given out their best to this organization. So the company is now thinking of, okay, how do we retain them? So, but they go to their competitors. They go with the knowledge. They go with the customer base. They go with a lot of resources from the company in terms of mental capacity, and this is because the organization human resources department has not done a good job in managing the human capital within the organization, especially those who are under the contract staff arrangements. So all of these um, um, references were used during this presentation. Thank you.